Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that Wuthering Waves has gotten some crazy new news that I do believe is going to devastate a huge portion of the space. It is an example of incredibly unequal treatment, a huge amount of, some could maybe even say, slight discrimination based on where you are. And the unfortunate part about this one is that I'm not going to be able to read it because it's all in Chinese. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a rough one. But thankfully, I actually do have an incredible translation feature over here that only worked on the pop-up, but is now working on the page. And you still might be wondering, oh my gosh, what is it? Because it's just a bunch of images and collab photos. That's because, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have, ladies and gentlemen, another restaurant greasy carbohydrate loaded exclusive. KFC is coming out with not just a glider skin, guys. They're double fucking dipping compared to the predecessors, and they also have a motorcycle skin. And I'm going to be real over here. I think this is a circumstance where a player might actually have the potential to be a bit upset. Because, let me just take a close look at this. This skin actually looks good. And this is going to be the first time, potentially, in the history of the game, guys, that we're going to get, like, the collaboration materials and the designs from the collaboration materials actually available in-game. Yes, this is like all of, like, the new outfits. You can see over here, Chuyon's looking fresh. Cartithia looks cool. Shorekeeper looks like she's in a wedding dress, and Camellia looks the same as her base outfit. I'll just say, like, it literally looks like her base outfit. Like, come on. That's what's going on over there. And then you can see they got little chibi versions that will show up as a decal on this skin. I don't think this, or a form of this, is represented in the game in, like, any way. And it's definitely not something that you can go out and, like, customize your stuff with. The glider, you can see it over here, it just looks like a little bit plain, but some could say they like the color scheme of it, and they'll maybe like the fact that it's plain and not branded. You can see that the KFC logo's kind of on here. The problem with this, ladies and gentlemen, is that both of these things are CN exclusives. Saint from the future over here. It actually turns out that maybe we were a bit early recording this KFC collab because it turns out there's a brand new PV that's coming alongside it. So let's just further see what China's getting that we're not. And I'm going to be real here. I pre-watched this. It might piss some of you guys off. A lot of production value. That's a lot of openers, though. Like, that's how you know this is going to be fire. This is all for KFC, bro. They got a little bit of Shorekeeper. They got Bartender Chew. And I'm gonna be real. They modeled out all the stuff. They modeled out all the skins, right? I'm kind of pissed. These are, like, rendered in-game. Imagine that this is actually one of his skins, and then instead of bamboo, he makes, like, these that are, like, on the shirt. Yeah, I'd buy that shit. If you don't want to buy this, I'm just gonna be honest. It's like, buying this doesn't even make you gay. Buying this just means that you have, like, style as a dude. So, saying that this is gay is basically just an admission that you probably look like shit. I'm just gonna be real with you over here. Like... And now we got Camellia in her base skin. Didn't have to do a lot of work for this one, bucko. Oh, damn, she really... Oh, damn, she went all out. This is probably the most normal she's looked in game before. And now, the final... And she's just eating food. Is that all she's gonna do? That might be the most work that I've seen for a collab before. And so, part of me is thinking, these things obviously don't have any, like, KFC branding on them. right? They don't have any KFC branding on them. They're modeled in-game. They're rendered out and everything. That's how they got the footage. And I guess this is like a look at the meals. Oh, yeah, these are expensive. I can already tell. Oh, they come with a lot. Yeah, these are probably gonna be like 20, 30 bucks. Okay, all right. That's just a look at all the other stuff. What else we got going on over here? Okay, they got some parasocial photos and shit. I like that it showed the background that they're from. I feel like a lot of people are gonna buy this. This is actually one of the biggest ones yet. That looks like all the products. And now we gotta look at it in-game. So, I don't think the glider is very exciting. Because who even glides nowadays? But this over here, yeah, this bike is pretty sick. And I'm just hoping they got, like, I think it's only one decal, so you can get, like, the red decals to, like, cover the green and shit over here. I think the only thing that stands out is I really don't want to have to deal with, like, this green light. It looks like shit. The green light looks like shit on the red. But yeah, that's just gonna be a look at it in-game. That's just gonna be some additional footage provided by the developers that I wanted to make sure that we take a look at before we get into some of the specifics of, well, how you're gonna be getting, or if you're in global, not getting these. So now let's get on with the rest of the video. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these gliders, or really this glider and this motorcycle with the decal, this is what it looks like in-game. They are going to be CN exclusives. And the details for actually claiming this, well, you can kind of like see about it over here. Maybe you got a friend. Maybe you can phone a friend. Ming Chow! Linkage. The KFC linkage package details and event rules information are officially released. Maybe this is expensive, right? Maybe you gotta buy like the 400 bucket meal and there's only gonna be like 3 people in China that can afford this. If that's the case, it's not gonna be too bad. Let's see how much let's see what's required to get this. It starts on the 23rd. They're gonna have a Wuthering Waves start bucket. And so, it includes 4 badges, water-sensitive back parts, I'm not even going to try to read this, and a residence party gift pack redemption code. Let's see what's in that code. I can't see it. I'm assuming that gift pack, that gift code that you get from buying the meal, I imagine it's just going to contain these 2 things, right? And maybe like 60 astrite, maybe like some stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But I think the realization is that these don't necessarily look like super crazy affordable packages to me. Usually, I hear people saying that these meals can cost upwards of like $10, $20, $30, just because they want to like make those collabs a bit more worth it for the actual restaurants. I don't think this one's coming necessarily cheap, and it's definitely going to be something, right? Maybe it's like a nice meal that you're getting for your family on the weekend, and then you get to profit out of it. The unfortunate thing, though, is the fact that nobody in global is going to be able to get this. And I think the part that's going to piss off a lot of people the most is the fact that KFC is, well, it's an American company. The K in KFC stands for Kentucky, and Kentucky is a state in the United States of America. You kind of like see what's going on over here, right? It doesn't like really make that much sense that like China is getting the most benefits out of my Kentucky Fried Chicken. But this is something that's been done before, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to make sure that you're paying close attention to this part before you start raising your pitchforks and you start freaking out too much. Because you might like the way that it might be implemented in global a lot more than what you're seeing in CN. And once you see this, you might actually be happy that we don't have CN's deal. This is reminiscent of the Wings of Feasting, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you remember these kind of actually do look exactly like the one that's going to be in Wuwa, actually almost 1-to-1, right? This was the KFC glider for Genshin Impact. And the KFC glider in Genshin Impact was actually redeemed in a very similar way. You had to buy one of the more expensive meals on the menu to be eligible for it, right? Because you don't go to KFC to get 1 drumstick and a fucking biscuit, right? You go to KFC to feed a lot of people, right? You go there to spend like 30, 40 bucks. That's typically how it works. Genshin, for the global redemption of these wings, went with this tactic. It was through the Adventurers Guild on Twitch event. You might be wondering what that is. Don't worry, we got this over here. So this event was held for about honestly, only like 2 weeks. And basically, you had streamers that were in the event, and if you purchase 2 subscriptions, you get the glider. And this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Kuro Games has actually done this before. Wuthering Waves Twitch glider. Wuthering Waves has literally already done this before with the Clear Days glider. And as you all know, the Clear Days glider was a glider that we already had that, well, was a Twitch exclusive, and you got it from donating 2 subs on a live stream to anyone that's actively playing Wuthering Waves. And let me be real with you. This was one of the best things that happened to the streaming ecosystem of this game. I believe this went live during like 2.3 or 2.4, and the end result was that 2.4 was one of the most profitable and also one of like the best times to content create for this game. So it boosts pretty much all creators a shit ton. It was one of the best months for like everybody because of that. And as you can see over here, that's what happened for one of Wuwa's old gliders. And this is also something that happened, right? Naturally, you get some other rewards on top of it for Genshin Impact. And so we can probably expect, right? And this is what I'll just say. If there ever was a combo to redeem, I would say this is the one, because this is without a doubt the best, right? It is without a doubt like the best one we've had so far when it comes to collabs. And the fact that you're even getting like the chibi art, you're getting the decals and all of that, man, wasn't this bike an awesome ad? Wasn't this bike an amazing ad, right? When you consider the fact that you now have so much more room for crazy collabs like this. And I think this is just telling me that the sky's the limit when it comes to how we're going to get more customization moving forward. And I think the only thing that I hope is that the car, when the High Roy is over, doesn't get kind of like thrown to the wayside too fast. I'm praying, right? I'm praying that that occurs. Because, well, wouldn't it just like kind of suck? Wouldn't it just be like kind of awful if you got all these cool skins, all this cool stuff, and then the next region, right, doesn't let you show any of it off in the normal gameplay? So, I don't know. We'll see how this stuff sort of like transfers overall, because I do think that there's like a decent amount that can be done over here. I'm excited to see how they expand on it further. But, yeah, I'm just hoping that the implementation of this glider, when it does come to global, if it does, because I really think it should, because that's a great design, I'm hoping that they have something closer to this. Because gifting 2 subs to your favorite streamer, guys, a lot cheaper than this. I'll just say that up front. It's a lot cheaper to get 2 subs than to buy a whole goddamn chicken meal. That shit's gonna be like 8 pieces, bro. That shit ain't cheap. That's gonna be it for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Just a bit of a quick update on our end, just so you don't get a little bit too jealous for how the Chinese are getting treated. Because at the end of the day, global ends up getting a discount if the collab stuff is exactly what you're looking for, right? And on the occasion that you do give 2 subs to somebody, right? Well, that's gonna be 2 months of ad-free viewing. And with the number of people that bitch about my ads, well, it is what it is. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.